Ladies and gentlemen, this is Charles Booker, and he recently put out an ad with himself wearing a noose. And he is running for the Senate in Kentucky against Rand Paul. So he wears this noose, and of course, the political ad is very controversial and it's making news today. So, Kentucky Democrat wears noose in ad highlighting nation's history of lynching. Now, the reason why he's highlighting this is because Rand Paul, he did not want to pass the anti-lynching law, which was named after Emmett Till in 2022. And his candidate does a historical, this is Charles Booker, ad based on lynching. So I'm going to go ahead and play this audio, and this is from the Washington Post.
Kentucky Democrat wears noose in ad highlighting nation's history of lynching. News by Amy Wong and John Wagner. Charles Booker, the Democratic nominee challenging Senator Rand Paul, Republican, Kentucky, wears a noose in a new campaign ad in which he seeks to highlight the nation's painful history of lynching and Paul's opposition to a 2020 bill to make it a federal hate crime. The pain of our past persists to this day, Booker says in the ad. In Kentucky, like many states throughout the South, lynching was a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. The camera pans to reveal a noose around Booker's neck. It was used to kill my ancestors, he says. Now, in a historic victory for our Commonwealth, I have become the first Black Kentuckian to receive the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. My opponent? Booker continues, as images of Paul flash on the screen. The person who single-handedly blocked an anti-lynching act from being federal law. The ad does not mention that Paul supported an updated bill, known as the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, that passed in the Senate in March and is now law. Paul did single-handedly hold up the legislation in 2020, saying he was concerned it could be applied too broadly. In March, Paul acknowledged to the Louisville Courier-Journal that it wasn't a popular stand to slow this bill down in 2020, but that he still thought it had been the right thing to do. Paul later co-sponsored the updated bill, which was introduced by Senators Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey, and Tim Scott, Republican, South Carolina. In the end, I think the compromise language will hopefully keep us from incarcerating somebody for some kind of crime that's not lynching, Paul told the newspaper. We just wanted to make sure that the punishment was proportional to the crime, and I guess it's just good news that it finally worked out. President Biden signed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act into law in March, noting that it had taken more than a century of failed efforts to pass a federal law that expressly prohibited lynching. For a long time, lynching was pure terror to enforce the lie that not everyone belongs in America, not everyone is created equal, Biden said then in a Rose Garden ceremony after the bill's signing. Innocent men, women and children hung by nooses from trees, bodies burned and drowned and castrated. Their crimes? Trying to vote, trying to go to school, trying to own a business, or preach the gospel. False accusations of murder, arson, and robbery. Simply being Black. The new law amends the U.S. Code to designate lynching a hate crime, punishable by as many as 30 years in prison. More than 4,000 people, mostly African Americans, were reported lynched in the United States from 1882 to 1968 in all but a handful of states. 99% of perpetrators escaped state or local punishment. Booker and Paul will face off in the November general election. Paul faced four challengers in the May 17th Republican primary, but won handily. Booker, a former Kentucky state representative and Louisville native, was unsuccessful in his attempt to be the Democratic Senate nominee in 2020, but also easily won his primary race last month. Booker's new ad also calls out Paul for once comparing expanded health care to slavery, and for his past criticisms of the Civil Rights Act. Felicia Sanmez and Eugene Scott contributed to this report.
Okay, so you heard that. So he focused on lynching, but we know that's not really a good lynching bill that was passed because, God forbid they give anything decent to us. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, you'll have to tell me what you think. You'll see the ad play after this commentary. and you will have to just tell me what you think in there. So I think it's a good thing to run on. I think the bill is not good enough. It should never have passed without being more detailed. And especially the racism part of the bill, it's not enough. It was very vague. And we never seen a very vague lynching. The lynching was very specific and to the point, and that's how the bill should have been. I'm just saying. But y'all, I wish I knew where he stood on reparations. We haven't heard this, but actually, this is not the first time I've done a video on Charles Booker. He is from Kentucky, and he did speak out after the Breonna Taylor murder that took place there. And he spoke out also on the LMPD's job, and he was not happy. And I remember doing that video back in 2021 on him. So it's not the first time I've done a video. But y'all, please view the video after my commentary and tell me what you think.
The pain of our past persists to this day. In Kentucky, like many states throughout the South, lynching was a tool of terror. It was used to kill hopes for freedom. It was used to kill my ancestors. Now, in a historic victory for our Commonwealth, I have become the first Black Kentuckian to receive the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate. My opponent, the very person who compared expanded health care to slavery, the person who said he would have opposed the Civil Rights Act, the person who single handedly blocked an anti lynching act from being federal law. The choice couldn't be clearer. Do we move forward together? Or do we let politicians like Rand Paul forever hold us back and drive us apart? In November, we will choose healing. We will choose Kentucky.
Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.